is really good. And as I just noticed to Dr. Akhvendra that while I've been waiting for a couple of minutes before we start, I'm very sorry, but I saw you interacting in the classroom, and so I realized that we are actually living in a globalized world. Because, being honest, our students in Ukraine, located in thousands of kilometers from you, they behave approximately like you. So you are talking to each other, you are sitting on your phones, you are chatting, you are laughing, and so on. Of course, it's much harder for us to laugh now because of the war, but still, we young people, they always try to find something interesting to communicate, to interact. And I believe that when you meet, maybe nowadays or in nearest future, when you meet your colleagues from other countries in the workplace, yeah, you will find a lot of similarities because of your age, because of your profession, because of your interest, and so on. So let me please share my screen. I hope you will see the presentation. Just a second. Okay, right here, and we can start. I hope you see my screen, right? Yeah,
Yes, it is
perfect.
visible.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I would like to share briefly my research, and not only my research, about cross-cultural communication. And basically, if we can organize a short discussion, it would be really great. I know you have a mic, you have a microphone, you can ask questions, or I can ask questions to you. I would really appreciate your responses. It would be really nice for me to hear. I'm always glad to have these connections with Indian students and colleagues. It's great pleasure for me, being honest. I have a very good attitude to your country and your nation and your lots of your colleagues, of my colleagues in your country. We have really good collaboration, and in particular with Dr. Akhvendra and your faculty. So it's a great pleasure for me to be here. Okay, so let's start. We talk about cross-cultural communication in business. Yeah. Very often in business life, we meet people from other countries. It might be your partners, your colleagues, your investors, your suppliers, your customers. Usually, you meet them online or offline, whatever. So you basically need to find the common language. You need to break down these barriers that might occur when you meet a foreigner. So right now, we're going to talk about these barriers, and probably, I hope, we will understand some techniques, some ways to overcome these barriers. So, first of all, why it happens, I will not take much of your time. You understand that we live in a globalized world, that especially when we talk about India, we know that India is a great global supplier of a lot of technologies, products, services, professionals, and so on. So you can trade with anyone, anywhere. Yeah. It's about digitalization. Another important factor, issue, making cross-cultural communication even more important, and these competences, these skills, even more important for young professionals like you guys. Digital technologies, they make possible a lot of things, like this particular webinar. Yeah, we can meet online while I am in Kiev, in the capital of Ukraine, and I can talk to you via these technologies. So the same about trade, the same about business. You can buy or sell goods or services only by using some platforms like Instagram, like maybe Amazon or eBay, whatever. So you can transfer money, you can send information using these digital technologies. And the last one, the last major trend increasing the importance of this communication, is growing impact of new generations like you guys, in particular. That's a great case, because students of university, of business school, you mainly represent generation that is very flexible, very digitally savvy. You can use all these technologies. You are very open for cross-cultural communication in business or in real life, in ordinary life. Yeah, so you can travel, you can communicate with your peers all over the world. So you are new generations ready for intercultural or cross-cultural business context much more than lots of previous generations. And of course, we cannot ignore Russian aggression. The war started in Europe, and this war is not only a big tragedy for our people, for Ukrainians, but it also broke down a lot of supply chains, and a lot of people had to migrate, and a lot of people and companies had to refocus on their activities with new partners in other countries. So it actually gives new opportunities and new contacts for people in lots of countries in Europe and worldwide. So about barriers, about problems, of course, it's rather simple to understand the major barrier. The major barrier, I believe you understand that it's language barrier. Of course, when we meet a foreigner, first of all, we might have a problem with language because we know that there are different international languages, but we have to admit and accept that the major international business language is English. And that's why I believe it's your advantage in India that you know English language really well. I believe it's correct. And if you meet your partner from other countries, so of course you need to have at least good level of English. It's important for you to understand each other, but still I believe that it's very important to know several phrases or at least words in local language. It's always nice. It's always nice to, when you are in India, to say namaste. Yeah, it's always nice to say dhanyavad if you want to say thank you. It's always nice to know some nice words in local language. It will make your business partner smile. It will make your business partner understand that you prepared well for this meeting, that this meeting means so much to you. So language barriers are the most widespread, and of course, English is number one language, and still I believe that some words in local language will always give you some benefits before you meet your business partner. The second barrier or obstacle in cross-cultural communication when you meet a foreigner might be differences in values, core values, the most important values in your country, in your nation. In every country, people have different values. I mean, we all are human beings. We all care about health, about our happiness, and so on. But still, especially in business cultures, you can find similarities and you will find differences. On this slide, you can see the results of the research in two countries in the United States and one of the European countries, Poland. And if you compare, I can tell you that in the United States, competition, independence, trying to attempt to get more money, to earn more money, mean much more than to Polish people, because in Poland, people prefer more to focus on family and health. What does it mean in a business communication? It means that if your workers, for example, you are a manager, I believe that in your business school, you are going to be managers, right? You are learning now to become a manager, successful entrepreneurs. And if you will hire people, for example, from a country with a core values like family and health, it's highly likely that these people will have problems when you will ask them to stay longer in office. Right now, I have a request from one company, from one of the biggest Ukrainian companies, energy companies, and they opened a couple of offices in Western Europe, and they find this as a problem, as a barrier, because people in these countries, they are not that business oriented as people in Ukraine. Because in Ukraine right now, we have very hard situation and people are working hard to earn money and to help their companies. So it's easier to motivate Ukrainian to work. For example, you can offer some extra money, you can motivate with a common goal and so on. And people are okay with overtimes. We can stay in office longer, we can work. For example, if it's needed, we can go on Saturday and work a bit. And in comparison, if you talk about some more developed countries, like, for example, the United Kingdom or Scandinavian countries like Sweden or Norway, it's much more complicated to persuade people to work more, even if you are offering them extra money, because they are okay with their salary. So they basically say, okay, we don't want to stay longer in office. We want to spend time with our friends, with our families, and so on. So it's a problem. It's a cultural clash, and you can find it challenging to motivate these people like you can motivate your own people. I believe in India. I'm very interested in your opinion. If someone can say, for example, is it important for you to earn extra money if you are losing your time with family and friends? Will you stay in office for a couple of hours more if you are offered some extra money, or you prefer to spend time with family and friends? What do you think? If some students can say, it would be nice. What would you choose? To earn a bit more money or to spend this time with your friends having a good time, playing cricket or eating curry?
Students, feel free to share your views.
Yeah, please, if someone can say. Imagine you have a salary like, I don't know, $1,000 approximately, yeah, and you are offered like 30% bonus, yeah, 30% more to work 2 hours more every day per week. Yeah, so not until 6, but until 8 for 5 days in a row, and you will get 30%. Will you agree or disagree? Because when I ask my Ukrainian students, the responses are different. Someone say, "Of course I will." Someone said, "No way, I want to live my life." Okay, no responses so far, yeah? Dr. Raghvendra, help us a bit. What do you think in general? More people in India will agree to extra money instead of spending time with family and friends, or
Hmm.
most people will say, "No way, I am satisfied with my salary and income. I want to live my life." What do you
In
think?
in my opinion, substantial number of people would agree to the idea if they are given a couple of more rupees.
Mhm.
They will prefer to attend the offices maybe late in the evening. Actually, many of them they are doing it. A new trend you see in India, what I have observed in the past 1 decade, most corporates they have started offering 5 days a week, right? In India, generally it is 6 day a week, but in many of the cases it
Mhm.
is 5 days a week. So many people they want to negotiate when they want to change their jobs, and they are working in a company which is offering them 5 days a week. If they are changing their jobs, means they are required to work for 6 days instead of five. So they would like to negotiate their salary on the basis of this. Instead of 5 days, I'm required to work on 6 days. So this is a trend which is happening nowadays. I suppose this change has taken place in the past 10 years.
Thank you very much. That's very interesting observation. You see, it's one more evidence that we have these differences, because in Ukraine right now, as I said, a lot of especially young people, they are really business oriented and they would like to earn more money. Yeah, so it's okay for them. It's normal. But still, we can see that in many countries, in especially in the Northern Europe, like Scandinavian countries, they are shortening their working hours. They work for 4 days a week. 4 days a week. It's very it's really different from Indian or Ukrainian culture. So that's why some of the companies meet these challenges when they try to form mixed teams, yeah, with people from different countries, and it happens very often. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Raghvendra. So the next one, differences in standards of behavior. That's much more obvious problem when you meet a foreigner and you behave in a different way. So I like this example. I usually discuss it with my students about physical contact, because in different countries, in different cultures, people behave differently. And for example, this close physical contact is very different in southern countries, like, for example, Latin America or Southern Europe, and in northern countries like in again Northern Europe or some of the Asian countries like Japan. For example, when you meet your foreign partner and you try to hug this person, or even in some cultures it's very often when you kiss on the cheek your foreign business partner. And recently, I think last week, if I'm correct, last week I had a class with the adults with our MBA students, and they work in globalized companies. And I discussed this question, and I asked the question to this group of adults, and I said, what would you do if, for example, your You will go on a business trip to, for example, Spain, and you will get on off the plane, and your Spanish partner will meet you and try to kiss you on the cheek. What would you do? And one of the ladies, she started really laughing, because she said that they actually worked with maybe not Spanish but Italian partners, also Southern European country, and she said they actually kissed everybody. So we met our delegation, our group. We went off the plane. They met us, and everybody started kissing everybody. So she said that, okay, at the beginning, at first, I felt very uncomfortable, because it was not something really bad, but it was a bit strange for Ukrainian culture. But still, it was very friendly. It was very, like, without any flirting, without any bad attitude and so on. So it's their way of communication. So, and it was really okay. So then everybody started kissing everybody. So, but we understand that for some cultures, it's very, very bad idea to start getting closer in physical contact. Yeah, for example, in Japan, you see, and I work with Japanese colleagues, I know that it's really, really, it's unacceptable. Do not kiss a Japanese person at the first meeting. So it would be wrong, or even hug and so on. So just keep the distance. So, and sometimes it might be really different. And in India, I know that Indian people are really warm. Dr. Raghvendra, what do you think? Is it a good idea when we meet in Dehradun, I hope, to give you a hug?
No, hug is a common. It's a common gesture among the friends, but professionally, it is not that greatly popular in India. Like
Shake his
highly
hands.
urbanized systems, we find that what you were explaining, that hugging and kissing, in the highly, in the elite group, it is little becoming popular with the passage of time, but it is not the behavior of the masses. But hugging, if you are into that zone with somebody, so it is okay. Shaking hands and hugging, if you are a friend zone, but otherwise, it is not a very popular gesture.
What about students? Do they hug each other meeting in the morning in the classroom? Do you hug each other?
Students, you can share your views on the topic.
You can just show. You can just show. If you are hugging, you can give a hug to your classmate.
Oh,
Thank
somebody
you
want
very
to hug.
much. Dhanyavad.
His voice is echoing, I suppose. Divyam, can we fix this issue? It's okay. I suppose there is some technical issue with them.
It's okay, but thank you very much. Thank you anyway. I really appreciate. We cannot hear you, yeah? Okay, sorry. It's my fault. So it's okay, but I really appreciate it. And thank you, Dr. Raghvendra, for clarifying the situation. I believe that we just need to be ready for such situations in real business and real life. It will happen. I believe, and I wish it will happen to all of you in the nearest future. You will meet your foreign partners, and you will communicate with them, and you should be ready that in different cultures people behave really differently. So stereotype thinking, it's a problem that can happen when you believe that everybody in this country behave like you suppose these people to behave. For example, we believe, I just told you, that people in Southern Europe, they are very friendly, they are very warm, they try to have this close physical contact and so on. And if we believe that everybody in this country is like that, so we can have a problem when we meet a Spanish guy and he's not going to kiss you or hug you, and you try to show this attitude to him or her. So in this case, you need to understand that every single person is individual, and sometimes you need to learn corporate culture. Like Dr. Raghvendra just noticed, and I absolutely agree with that. So you need to know not only the general country situation, but you need to know corporate culture or professional culture. So, for example, we know that all people are very friendly, all people are very relaxed, like in some Latin American country. So people are really relaxed. But in this particular company, the corporate culture is very business oriented. And so people in this particular company, they're very serious and very formal. So you don't have to be really funny with them. And at the same time, it might be opposite. In some, for example, German company, I have a lot of contacts in Germany, and Germans are supposed to be very serious guys. But sometimes it happens that you meet a business partner from Germany, from the industry, let's say service industry or creative industry. And in this particular company, the corporate culture is a bit relaxed and people are okay about laughing, about informal communication and so on. So you need to adjust to a corporate culture as well as for the national culture. And the last one, the last maybe major barrier or obstacle when you meet a foreign business partner is the lack of trust. Of course, we trust to our close friends and family members. Of course, we trust to some our colleagues. But when you meet a foreigner, sometimes you have lack of trust. You don't think that this person is reliable enough. And here is a trap, here is a problem, is that some countries have really good reputation, and sometimes we believe, or most people believe, that if they meet a business partner from this particular country with a high reputation, let's say very reputable country like Canada, Sweden, or Germany in this particular ranking, so we can trust to these people. And when we meet a person from a country with lower, let's say, reputation, though I don't like this term, I believe that all countries should be treated equally and all people should be treated equally unless they do something wrong or bad. But still, it's a reality. So sometimes we need to prove that we are professionals. Sometimes we need to prove that we can be trusted because we are, let's say, not from Canada, Sweden, Germany, or like Switzerland or Japan or something. We need to prove that it's okay. In Ukraine, we have this situation. I will not discuss it about India, probably. I think that you can think about it, but still in Ukraine, for example, I need to prove that I'm professional if a company is choosing whom to hire, a Ukrainian or a German. So, of course, the Germany is a very developed country, and we say, or the United States or the United Kingdom, to hire a British guy or Ukrainian guy or Indian guy. Yeah. So we can think that most companies will choose the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, and so on. And in our countries, we need to prove that we are professionals. So it's wrong, but step by step, we need to change this situation, and we need to prove that our countries are also reliable and trustworthy partners. So that's how we earn this reputation. So, and these were the barriers, these were the problems. And now I would like to discuss with you the ways how to be ready for cross-cultural communication. What should we do to improve our cultural intelligence? I believe you all heard about the concept of IQ, like intelligence, yeah, then about emotional EQ, emotional competence, that people need to be ready to understand each other. And now companies more and more are talking about CQ, cultural intelligence. That's happening because we actually are in globalized world. We actually work on a global level with lots of partners worldwide. So that's why all companies require cultural intelligence from their workers, from their especially managers, because highly likely you will run a department or a team from different countries, representative of different countries. So first advice, first my recommendation will be the following. You need to understand the local culture. Of course, we can Google something, we can watch some videos. As Dr. Raghvendra said, I have my YouTube channel, for example. I try to collect this data from different countries and share it with students, but still, there are a couple of concepts, and I would like to highlight one of them with you now, that already provide you with some data about particular culture. And the most important is Geert Hofstede model. It's called 6D or 6 dimensions model. I would like to briefly tell you about these 6 dimensions, how we can define or understand some particular culture, because it's very, very hard to understand a culture unless you live in this culture for, I don't know, years or at least months. So you can start with Geert Hofstede model. So six cultural dimensions. How can we distinguish one culture from another? So first of them is power distance. It's a distance between a manager and employee, a president or prime minister and citizens, university professor and students. Is this distance big or small? In some countries, this distance between those with power and those without power is really, really big. It means that manager is like a big boss, and you can listen to this guy or lady and just obey and do what he or she wants you to do. In other countries, you can see them in the light green color on this picture. The power distance is really small. It means that a manager is more like a partner. It's more like a colleague or a friend with more responsibilities, with better expertise, but still it's an equal person to you. So in this case, you can see that the Western Europe, the Northern America, the United Kingdom, Australia, they are light. So it means in these countries, the traditions, the norms are the following. The boss is more a partner. Yeah, so it's much smaller power distance in these countries. In Eastern Europe, in Asia, in Africa, you can see dark green color countries. It means that the distance is pretty large. So it means the distance between boss and employee is bigger. Is it good or bad? I believe that, for example, you can see Ukraine in this slide. My country, Ukraine, is a dark color. So, and I am really glad that nowadays, and not only nowadays, but for maybe 5-7 years, I can really see the changes, and the distance between bosses and employees is shortening. It becomes smaller. It's very, very important for any country to have this better communication between bosses and employees, because you can get more information from your employees. Employees are important. They know the situation. They can provide you with the situation. And if this power distance is smaller, people are more motivated. People believe that they mean something. They are important in their companies. So, of course, I wish our countries, and you see India, by the way, India is a bit more light on this picture than Ukraine. So it means that in your country, the power distance is large, but not that large as in other countries in the world. So I believe that you have also democratic changes, and you also have this flattening of organizational structures. It's really important, in my opinion. So the second parameter, the second dimension is individualism or collectivism. Are people more individualistic? Are they ready for individual decisions, for taking a chance, taking a risk to work on their own, or they prefer to work in a team as a collectivistic manner? On this screen, on this picture, you can see that, again, dark color countries are more individualistic. So once again, the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, European Union countries, they are more individualistic. India is more collectivistic country. So like Ukraine, by the way, Ukraine is also more collectivistic country. We have some traditions in Ukraine doing something together, like joint activities or working in teams. So it's okay. But once again, I can say that there is a difference, not only between countries, but also between regions in the country and also between companies. For example, I believe that though Indians are really collectivistic people, I'm sure we talked with Dr. Raghvendra about that, and you are collectivistic culture and nation, but still, when we talk about big companies, big corporations, a lot of people there are individualistic because they need to achieve goals by themselves. They can work in teams, but still they make decisions by their own. So there are exceptions, like big companies, big cities, or smaller cities, smaller companies, or corporate culture. So it's not good or bad. It's about efficiency. If you can work efficiency in the team, so work in a team. Yeah, if you prefer to work individually and it works better, so work individually. So it depends on your beliefs and your traditions. So I think that India is pretty successful being collectivistic. I can't imagine India to transform into individual society. Dr. Akhvendra, what do you think? I'm sure that you are successful as collectivistic people, right?
That's perfect, sir. Your observation is perfectly correct. We happen to be the collectivist country, though, because now the industrialization is taking place, and India is more commercialized country now. It has its own presence in the industry and all spheres of development. So I think gradually it will be a combination of collectivism and individualism. I don't know what will happen after 15 years, maybe, but it is primarily the collectivist country. Society also as a whole.
Thank
Good
you. Thank you
observation.
very much. Thank you very much. I absolutely agree. And I think that we should find our advantages in collectivism, not to try to turn it on to individualism, but to find our strengths in this teamwork, yeah, to support each other, to collaborate, and to work as a team. So it's a good opportunity for us to develop. So the third one out of 6 is masculinity. Masculinity is about traditional male values. It's not about gender, it's about traditional values. Some countries are more masculine. It means that in these countries, people prefer to use the values of competition, of risk, of maybe courage, and so on. And in other countries, people are more feminine. Feminine means people try to develop collaboration, supporting, caring about each other. So, and try to be successful using these traditional female values. And this picture, you can see, once again, it's pretty diverse picture now, but you can see that a lot of masculine countries are successful, so they are developed. Like, again, you can see European Union countries, the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, for example. But at the same time, we can see some exceptions, like once again, Sweden, Finland, and Norway, Scandinavian countries, very developed region in the world, and they are very, very feminine. They are supposed to be most feminine countries in the world, and they manage to be successful with this attitude to life and to work and to business. So we can see that India is somewhere in the middle. And in my personal opinion, I really like this combination. I don't know, you know better how it works in your country, but still, I believe that something in the middle is good for this particular dimension, because you can combine these good feminine values like supporting and caring of each other, and masculine values like trying to achieve success, to achieve your goal. So it's a good combination. I believe that India here is in a good position. The fourth out of 6, uncertainty avoidance. Do people believe that uncertainty is a bad thing, or uncertainty is just another reality and we are okay with uncertainty? Uncertainty is a situation when you don't actually know what will be tomorrow, in half a year, in 2 years, in 10 years. And we live in a very, very turbulent and uncertain environment right now. Of course, in Ukraine, it's in extreme position now. We live when we don't know what will happen today or tomorrow. But in general, in our world, we live in uncertainty. We live in times of uncertainty. And it's really important for us to be ready for this uncertainty. On this slide, you can see light color countries or regions of the world are the countries where people are okay about uncertainty. They really believe that uncertainty is something we can get along with. We can work in uncertainty. We can change our company. We can change our region of where we live. We can change our position in the company, department, and so on. So we are okay to start our own business. And dark color countries are countries where people prefer to stay in stable situations. And here is very interesting case because when I analyze these countries, sometimes I think that, okay, why in some countries that are really developed, that are really rich and successful, why people are not okay with uncertainty? They should be very risky. They should be okay to take a chance to try something new. But then I realized that in some countries like Spain, France, Germany, people in these countries, they like their way of living. They just don't want uncertainty. They prefer to live like they live. But at the same time, we can see some not that developed countries, like Eastern Europe countries, like, for example, Poland or Romania or Bulgaria or Ukraine or Turkey. And people in these countries also prefer to stay in a stable situations. And for me, it's a big question. Why? Because you need to change something. You need to try to do something else. You probably should be ready for uncertainty. And in India, you can see that you are, at least this data shows that you are ready for uncertainty. You are okay to work in new conditions, in new situations. And I believe that this competence, this skill is very important for anyone on the planet Earth, because we need to be ready for changes. We need to be ready to change something in our life. So, and for cross-cultural communication, it means that you are, when you meet a person from a dark color country where people don't like something risky, try to do your communication, business communication, not to frighten this person. Don't offer something too risky to these people. Try to show them the forecast. Try to show that, okay, I know what will be tomorrow. I know I calculated everything. So don't be afraid. When you talk to German partner or Japanese partner, just explain everything gonna be all right. Don't worry. I have calculations. And when you talk to, for example, your partner from a risky country, for example, the United Kingdom, where people are more okay about uncertainty, you can actually offer something innovative, something more, I don't know, some startup, some new idea, new approach. So people in these countries or the United States, they're okay with this. So try to adjust your style of business offer to your partner from a particular country. Long-term orientation, that's about planning your life for a longer period of time or shorter period of time. Of course, in some countries, like again, Japan or Germany are two classic examples when people try to plan for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, which is absolutely unacceptable, for example, for people from Africa, because in Africa, people try to plan it for a very, very short term. So once again, when you have a business negotiations with your African partners, try to show them quick results. Yeah, so we start today, in a, I don't know, half a year, we will get profits. But at the same time, a long-term oriented person will be frightened with short results, with quick results. He or she will think, okay, it's impossible to invest and earn money in a month. You need to earn step by step, show perspective. So, of course, you can try to adjust your style to this particular partner. And once again, we can see India somewhere in the middle. I believe, once again, in my personal opinion, it's a strong position when a country is somewhere in the middle. So it's really, really good. Okay, and the last one, the last dimension is indulgence. How relaxed people are, how free people are in their actions, in their activities. Can they do what they want? Or they more are focused on what will other people say? I want to behave as my friends behave, as my colleagues behave. I want to be similar with my environment. So in some countries, people are more, sorry, no data about India here, but I believe that you will share your opinion here. But in some countries, like red color countries, once again, the United States, Canada, Australia, UK, in these countries, people are more relaxed, but in other countries, people are more restrained. They think about other people. In Ukraine, for example, I can give you an example about my country. In Ukraine, there is a saying. I don't know if you have some similar saying in India, but I believe you might have it. In Ukraine, there is a saying: what will people say? Sometimes it's like a meme, internet meme. So people are joking, like even if not something, even if something strange. Yeah, okay. All young people try to look very, I don't know, impressive. So I also need to look impressive because all my peers, all my friends look impressive. So what will people say? For example, if a young lady is not married until, I don't know, 30, so what will people say? Why am I not married? I'm 30, I'm 29, I need to get married. But I am glad that nowadays more and more people treat this meme, treat this saying like a joke, like a meme. Okay, what will people say? So because no one actually care about what will people say anymore in some cases. So Dr. Akvendra, is there a saying, what will people say in India?
Exactly the same in India also. Most people, because India is a country, it's primarily the largest population segment is the middle income people, right? So, and they are the people, those who follow the values. They are the, value constrained people. So they will, the same saying, right? What will people
Same
say?
saying, yeah?
Same
Great.
saying.
Great, thank you very much. You see so many similarities because it's exactly what will people say, yeah. And it's really funny what we can rely, like think about power distance, yeah. What will my mom say? Yeah, what will my grandmother say, or something like that. So it's very funny that we have these similarities. Thank you very much. So, and moving on, I will not take a lot of your time on the other concept. I just show you some brief example, yeah, how it works in different cultures. You can see that how different cultures might be. So sometimes we can see that power distance is very different in different cultures. Let's analyze, for example, the United States, the green color indicators, power distance 40, somewhere in the middle. Individualism 91, very individualistic country. Masculinity 62, something like in India, by the way. Uncertainty avoidance 46, again, something like India. Long-term orientation, more short-term oriented country, and indulgence is about 68. So you can see when you meet your American partners, you should be ready that they are very individualistic and really relaxed. Okay, they are business focused, but they're really confident. It's about confidence. So, okay, friends, I will not tell you about the second popular approach now. I hope we will meet maybe some other day, and I will explain you briefly this other approach. But I would like to concentrate on some other recommendations. Maybe they will be useful for you in everyday life when you talk to your partners or friends from abroad. And of course, I hope they will be useful for you in business communication. So, some advice, some recommendations. Avoid ethnocentrism. I try to explain it to my students and to students from different countries when I have such webinars or lectures for students of my colleagues in from different nations. So, ethnocentrism, it's the belief, it's the attitude that your cultural values, your beliefs and traditions are normal, and other traditions and beliefs are strange. Sometimes, and being honest, very often, we believe that we are behaving normally. People should behave like we behave. And other people, they are strange. I can give you one example. About 10 years ago, I was on my vacation with my wife in Greece, in a beautiful European country, Greece, on the sea. So, ancient culture, tasty food, good people. So, and we met, we arrived to this country. It was my first visit to the country. And we wanted to eat. We were hungry. And it was midday, somewhere like 1 p.m. And we were hungry. And in Southern European countries, it's a time for siesta. People don't work because it's hot and it's ancient traditions. They have a break from, let's say, 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. They don't work. Nothing works. And I entered a restaurant at small tavern in this town, and I wanted to order at least something, but everybody said, no, 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 we don't work now. Come back in 3 hours. I Said, okay, we go to other restaurant. It looked more expensive. One waiter, Russian, running around and said, no, we don't work, come in 3 hours. Okay, another. So nobody actually wanted to work. Said, we give you money, just give us some food. No, come in 3 hours. Okay, and we found one tavern with a Greek guy, with rather old Greek guy. He spoke no English at all, but he started laughing and he made us a Greek salad and he fed us. We paid him and we laughed. I knew a couple of words in Greek, but still it was very primitive communication. And then we discussed, okay, guys, Greek people, I really like Greek people and Greece, but still, these people don't want to work too much. They don't even want to work in the midday because we have, like you have in your classroom, air conditioners. Yeah, you can turn on air conditioner, you can work. It's not that hot like 300 years ago when people started this tradition because it was very hot to work during very hot weather. But when you have air conditioner, you can actually work inside. It's okay. But it's tradition, so we prefer to relax, to chill until evening, then come back and have a dinner. So what we can say? We can say, okay, they're sorry, but they're lazy. They're lazy. So what? Why don't you want to earn extra money? But it's wrong. It's their way of living. We shouldn't say you are lazy. Yeah, you should. We should respect. If we want to work with Greek people or like any country with such attitude to business, we can say, okay, we need to adjust. It's our ethnocentrism. We believe that it's strange, but for them, our way of doing business is strange. When we talk about Americans, for example, Americans are always in business. They want to earn a lot of money. Me and Dr. Raghvendra, we work now on a research project with our American colleague. She is a professor of American University. And she laughed a lot because she said that we Americans, we always talk about work-life balance. We say we need to work, we need to relax, we need to stay in office, we need to stay with friends and family. But basically, we always work. We cannot have this work-life balance. So we can say Greek people are lazy, Americans are like robots, they work. But in fact, everybody is doing what he or she wants. We need to respect this way of living. So we need to understand it's okay. Greek people want to drink coffee and watch the mountains. Let them do it. Americans want to work from morning till night and become millionaires. Let them do it. So everybody can has right to do what he or she wants, if it's okay, if it's not bad or wrong. So ethnocentrism, avoid these things. When you are coming over to some other country, try to respect their beliefs and their values. So I think it's okay, it's normal. By the way, one more very short example. My good friend, a best friend of my wife, being honest, she was in Mumbai recently on a business trip. And it was so funny because it was not her first visit to India. She was there as a tourist years ago, but it was her first visit to your country as for a business reason. And she stayed in Mumbai. It was her first time in the city. She liked the hotel. The hotel was as you like it in India, luxury. So it was very good with a TV on the bathroom and so on and so on. So, but she loved to explore the city, the real life. And she had a lot of photos, a lot of videos on Instagram, sharing her opinion and so on. So, and it was her, I really respected her position. I would do the same. Because she tried to get around to see different districts, not only the districts they wanted to, like very popular touristic. She tried different food, and we loved it because she tried to eat street food and so on. So she explored the city, the country. So that's what I'm talking about. paying respect to some particular culture when you are there. Try to explore real life, try to understand these people. So that's really, really good. So the second short recommendation, avoid ambiguity. So try to be careful with jokes, with gestures that might be offensive, that might be rude when you talk to your partners or friends from abroad. So it might be very sensitive for these people. And of course, you need to prepare a bit. When you are going to some country, you need to know, okay, what is allowed, what is not allowed in this country, what is okay, what is not okay. Some jokes. In some countries, like black humor is okay. So people joke on very sensitive topics. But in some countries, it's very, very sensitive, and don't do it. Of course, don't try to offend your partners. And the third one, I have four advice. The third one is become a small talk master. That's a very interesting thing, because I think every single time you have business negotiations, you have a business meeting, there are a few minutes before we start negotiations. And it means a lot. What will you do when you have this 5-10 minutes before the negotiation started? So if you are silent, if you're just sitting silently, it's okay, but you will not be remembered by your counterpart from another country. So you are having a chance to impress this person, but you are losing this chance. So while you are a small talk master, you know what to talk about, some non-formal things. It gives you an advantage. Just know what is pleasant for your partner from other country. Know about achievements, advantages of this culture, of these nations. Know what is important for them. Some topics that unite these nations, some pleasant topics. When you start this conversation, even when we talk not about cross-cultural communication, even when you are in India, in your office, in your home city, and you have 5 minutes to talk with your colleague or your boss or your supplier or your customer, and you know a hobby of this person. For example, he loves cricket. Start talking about recent match. This person likes, I don't know, karaoke or sushi or football or whatever, or fashion. Talk a bit about this hobby. It will be really pleasant for this person. For example, it's talking about India. I know about your super successful mission to moon. Yeah, you landed on the moon, and it was really unique advantage for human race, not only for India. I'm talking about it right now, not only to please you, to show that I know about Indian science and technology advantages, but because we basically discussed it here in Ukraine, because it's a huge achievement. It's really huge. It's global achievement for human beings. So India has this achievement. So it's okay. We need to show our respect to your country. It's great. And so, of course, talking about such pleasant things might be surprising for your partners. My friend who was on a business trip to Spain and Italy, I think, or France, some of these three countries, Italy and France, I think. So she was on business trips to these countries in a very short term, and both countries are huge wine cultures. Yeah, they love wine. French wines are amazing, and Spanish wines are amazing, and Italian wines are amazing. And she was on the business trips to these countries, and she discussed wines, and her business partners were super happy to explain her a lot of things about wine, because this topic is very important for their culture. When you are asking a French guy, can you tell me about French wines? He can tell for hours. Yeah, so it will be pleasure for him. So try to find these topics for your business partners from your countries that you are visiting. And the last one, the last recommendation from me, stay open-minded. It's very important. It's very important about respect to your business partners from abroad, about physical appearance. We don't care how people look. We don't care how they talk. For example, English. I told you that English is very important, but there is a problem in Ukraine. I don't know what about India, but there is such problem in Ukraine. A lot of people they speak English, but they afraid their English is not well enough. They afraid that their English is not perfect, not C1, not C2. I say, come on, guys, just practice. Your English is very good. Just do it. Just speak English. Try to find contacts abroad. Say, no, we need to improve it a bit. No one should care about little mistakes. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. So we don't care about little mistakes. Accent. Okay, we have accent. There are a lot of situations when we talk about, for example, India is also, you also have accent. So it's okay. I talk to people from different countries. We all have accents. We don't care about accents. So it's normal behavior and so on. So some topics, some differences. So be open about it. Be flexible, respect each other, and you will find it's very interesting and very perspective to talk about cross-cultural communication, to meet your partners from abroad, to find new opportunities to trade. I hope that you will find some contacts in Ukraine one day. I would love to improve business relationship between our countries. I know that you have a lot of sunflower oil from Ukraine. We have a lot of IT services from India. Probably we have a lot of things, goods and services to exchange, being honest. So I believe that this events, such events as this webinar organized by your university, your business school, it's a small step, a small brick that might help us to become a bit closer to each other. So basically, that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you. I hope we managed to fit it in 1 hour timing. But still, if you have any questions, I would be more than happy. I would be more than happy to answer this question. So please, if you have any questions, ask them. Thank you very much for your attention, for listening, Tanya Wad, and I really looking forward to listening to your questions. Thank you, Dr. Afendra.
Thank you, Dr. Dennis. That was very interesting and very informative session. I must appreciate that. Students, if you have any question and if the IT problem is fixed there in the auditorium, if you have any query, you can feel free to ask your question. This is the best time. Tomorrow you will be the managers and you don't know which country you need to visit. So it's important for you to clarify all the doubts if you have any.
I do hope you will ask. Because otherwise I will ask some questions.
Is there any question, students? Please go ahead, Dr. Dennis. Okay, do we have any question? Okay, I think, as you said that, the reluctance on the part of the people when they are talking to somebody who doesn't belong to their culture. So this is one of the very, formidable barrier. It is true in Indian context also. Many times we want to speak, but because we are not so confident that our English is good. So it's a very formidable force in India also. You mentioned it very correctly in your session.
I think it's very widespread problem that people are really a bit shy and not that confident. And I think only practice can help. It's like cross-cultural communication in general. I can tell you that when I started my career in international level, so I was really worried if everything will be okay. Yeah, I should be very well prepared for such sessions and so on. But then when I visited one country, another country, third country, so it's just a pleasure to communicate with foreigners. So don't be worried that someone should be like offensive when your English is not good, when you're doing some mistakes, or just show yourself. Yeah, show that you are an expert in what you are doing. You're a professional. So these tiny problems, they are not that important. And of course, I believe that you can solve them day by day, step by step. You eventually you will become managers, and you will need to work with on international level. You will find it important for you to communicate with foreigners. And after all, it's really interesting. It's really pleasant when you are discovering something new, when you are sharing something. I'm really glad. I'm not just telling it to please you, but I'm really glad to have this opportunity to talk to Indian students because I really believe in your country. I really believe. I'm sure that we see this shift to your country as a global player. I don't want to talk too much about politics now, but I talk about economy. I talk about economics, and I see that global companies, they try to move their production bases to India and to other, for example, we can see this great example moving it from China to India. So it's an opportunity for your country. You have to be global player. You have to play your role in a globalized world. It's really tough now. It's really difficult now, very difficult situation, very dangerous situation, and India can play its role, as a confident country, as a serious economy, as a peaceful economy. So it's very important. These opportunities, you need to get these opportunities, not to lose them.
That's very important. That's correctly said, Dr. Dennis. So students, if there is no question from your side, I think we can wind up the session now. Okay, so it's a pleasure for me to propose a vote of thanks. I'm really thankful to our Vice Chancellor and Registrar for providing all type of support so that we can organize this kind of event to talk to the expert across the globe. I'm really thankful to our Director IBS also, Professor Dr. Roy. My sincere thanks to the coordinator for today's session, Dr. Rahul Berry, who is there in the auditorium, and he has coordinated along with the students this entire session and the IT team also. My appreciation to the IT team, Divyam also. Divyam, thank you very much for providing all this support to us so that we
Welcome,
can
sir.
talk.
Welcome.
And last but not the least, my congratulations and appreciation to the students who attended this webinar, and I'm sure they must have benefited from the talk. Dr. Dennis is the best person to talk on the communication as far as I know during my long, around 22 years of experience in the profession. Thank you very much, Dr. Dennis. At the last, it's a privilege, really privilege for me to say and convey my regards and appreciation to you. It's really good that whenever I request it for anything to you, you make yourself available. That's really a very good gesture. I really appreciate that. So thank you very much, Dr. Dennis, for sparing time for today's session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raghvendra. Thank you very much, all the team and all students. I'm really sorry that we had a little time for discussion, but still, I do believe that, as Dr. Raghvendra said, every time he invites me, I find it like a big honor and pleasure for me to be here. So I really appreciate your collaboration and your support. Thank you very much, everyone. My great respect and gratitude to you, and let's keep in touch, and let's hope we can see each other very soon. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.
Definitely.